Hi everyone, today we're doing a room called the blog on TryHackMe. So let's have a look at the nmap scan. So if I scroll up, we can see I did the service version scan and common scripts and an aggressive scan on this IP address here. You can see we have four ports open, SSH, HTTP and 2 SMB shares. So let's have a look at the server first. But before you do that, you will need to add this IP address here to your etc host file. This will just tell the web browser that the IP address will have this DNS name to it. So if we go to this tab here and we do sudo nano etc host, this file here, we can see you'll just need to put in the IP address and tab, do a tab, and all you need to do is put the IP address of your machine and the name of the TryHackMe room, which it says here. So I've already done that, so let's have a look at the web server. So we can see straight away it looks like a WordPress website just from looking at it. If you scroll down, it does definitely give the WordPress, and it just say WordPress here. One of the questions is what's the CMS using on this website. You can see here it's WordPress, and we can see what version is being used. We can just have a look here, and we can check WordPress. I think I just saw it just there for a second. It said WordPress. If I go up, we can see here content. The meta tag here shows that it's 5.0, and if we do WordPress 5.0, we'll see CVE, or just put RCE as well. You can put that in, and it'll show image remote code execution. You can see there's one for Metasploit as well, Rapid7, who look after Metasploit. So we can see we get two. Well, we get a CVE first off the bat, but if you click on this, you'll need a username and a password. So if we click on this one here, we'll see very quickly that it says that we need a username and a password. We already get two users here, so we get Billy G. Joel and Karen Wheeler. So one thing that I would like to do straight off is just go to the login form and put admin. We can see invalid username, and we could try SQL injection and all that, but none of that has worked. I'd use GoBuster as well to try to find the directories that are vulnerable, but if you just click on the website, you won't find anything really interesting. So I'm going to speed up things a little bit and tell you what I did that gave me the results straight away. I did WPScan, which is pretty much a WordPress scanner. This scans WordPress website and it does a really good job. So if we do double, and we just put in the name of the website here, we put that in and we do E to enumerate for everything, and we just press enter and we let WordPress do the rest. Well, WPScan that is. So we can see we're already finding some stuff here. We can see we get the readme file, which can also give you the service version. One thing I'll say which is pretty interesting is that this XML RPC is enabled, just kind of allow you to do pretty much brute force attacks a lot quicker. And we can see we get robots.txt. But this can be of use because this interacts directly with the WordPress API, and you can send multiple requests to this API endpoint. And this can speed up brute force attacks, so you can send multiple requests at the same time to speed up brute force attacks, which can be something of interest. We could also look at WP content. We can see this is a vulnerable version of WordPress, and we can see 2020 is out of date. So we could try to look for some CVEs for that. And we can see this shows the version, pretty sure of the version. And if we scroll down, we should get some usernames. We get K Wheel and B Joel. One thing I'll say is that I'll try to look at the directories manually. I went manually to the directories I think the directory is here, the themes directory, and I tried to list everything out. I looked for a CVE for 2023, the theme in use, but I couldn't really find anything. So one of the things I did next, let me get down to the downloads directory first of all. Let me go to downloads. So one of the other things I did next, we got a username, and I just did some brute force attacks. So I think it's right here, K Wheeler. Yeah, that's the name, K Wheel. So Karen Wheel and the user, and we got the other user, so we can just do a brute force attack on these user. I'm gonna start off with the top name, then just work my way down. So we're gonna just use a share word list rocku.txt, and we're just gonna let this run for a bit. So We could also have a look at Metasploit because they did say that we could use Metasploit. So if we click on Rapid 7, Metasploit is an amazing tool for any exploit. It's just a really good tool to use in general. We're going to let this run and it will find a username. So if we just do open Metasploit as well, so I'm going to use -q. This is just going to stop the banner from opening up, like the little, little text graphics from opening when you open Metasploit. So -q just stops that from opening. It saves a little bit of time. So we'll see here, this is a path traversal and a local file inclusion vulnerability on WordPress 5.00, and the image crop function allows a user with at least author privileges to resize an image and perform a path traversal by changing this value or whatever, this variable you could say, to a reference endpoint during upload. The second part of the exploit will include an image and in the current theme by changing the WordPress theme template attribute when creating a post. So you can see this is a PHP. Use the PHP, and we can see this is the command to use it. So pretty much we'll be using this. So if you look back, we should hopefully get something soon. Because it did take a little while, but to speed things up, we'll just put this in because we already know this is a vulnerable version of WordPress, and that's a pretty good exploit to go off of. So we do show options. Found about a spell. Options. We can see here. We need the remote host, the port, the theme. We don't really need to give them a theme, but username and a password is a must. So a little trick I like to do, I like to set my L host and I like to set it to ton 0, which will set to my OpenVPN address. And we already got a name, and we've got a password as well of QtPie. We could log into WordPress as well, but I'd much rather do it through Metasploit to upload the exploit instead of doing it manually, as this will just be a lot better. So if we do set username, whoops, actually that's not the username. Should be, I'll be able to set that anyway. So if I do set our host, put that in, and we do set username, it should clear username. So if we go here to kwheel, put that in, set password, and the password should be here, QtPie. Put that in, and if we do show options, we can see if you've got everything set up. So we can see where it says yes, we need to have that. The IP address is right, the port is right, and we can see just everything looks right. So if we just do run, we should hopefully get something. It may take a little while, but we let it do its thing, and we can already see that it's authenticated with WordPress and it's uploading the image. It's preparing the upload, and we can see we've got a listener running on port 444, and we can see it's with our IP address. But I'll also log in to the admin panel. If I go to robots.txt, it should show me where it is. So we can see this is the login. I'm going to zoom in a little bit as well to make it a little bit easier to see. So if that won't matter, but you can see it says 0. So if I just remove this, we should be able to log in. We can see it's already sending the stage. So let me just put in the password of QtPie1 and kwheel. It should log us into WordPress. So we'll just log in, but we can see already it's working. We got the theme, and we're sending a stage of 44444. And we could also just upload a reverse shell here and get, remote code execution here. We can see some of the comments that it's put on. I would also like to talk about why I didn't check out the SMB shares, because it's just a massive rabbit hole. If you check out the SMB shares, it'll just give us a bunch of images that will lead us to nowhere. I spent like a good half an hour just trying to look at the SMB shares and just tried to, extract any data from the images, which was a massive waste of time. We do pwd, we can see we're in the WordPress directory. So if we just go back and let's just see, so it's home, so this is cd to home, and if we do ls again, we can see we get one user, be Joel, If you do ls, we can see we get user.txt. If you cut user.txt, we can see you won't find what you're looking for here. So, and we also get a Billy Joel. I wonder if you can do download. I'm gonna try to press help on Metasploit, and we should see if we can download a file. I'm pretty sure we can upload. I'm pretty sure we'd be able to download. Yeah, download a file or directory. So we're gonna download. It's a bit quicker than just using a Python server and we're getting it over. So we're just gonna do it like this, and we can see it's download Billy Joel. So if we do ls again, and if we just do open Billy, it'll give us some useful information. So we can see here, this letters to inform you that your employment pretty much terminated, and we can see what happened. Repeated offences with company removable media policy and repeated offences regarding company acceptable use policy. So pretty much he's gotten fired, but something of interest is here is media policy. So he could have been plugging in a USB. And if you know anything about Linux, there's a media file in the root directory. So if we just get out of here, and we should be able to see media right here. So if we cd into media, and we can do ls, we can see a USB, which is interesting, and we can see we don't have permission. This just shows that we don't have permission to do that at all. So one other thing we could just do is look for SUID bits. I run linps and I run a lot of, post-exploitation tools, but what worked for me is to try to find an SUID with a special bit. So if we do perm 4000 SUID command, should hopefully come up. And I think this is the command. So I think it might be this one here, search for SUID, or this one seems pretty good. But we can use, not this one, I think it's 4000 that we'll need to look for. I can't remember the exact command, so I'm just going to try to go off this WordPress website. I think, yeah, this will be a good one. UID. We want to find executables that run, so if we just put that in. Actually, we'll need to get a shell first, so if we just do shell. We'll also need to make a TTY shell. So we'll see if it should be okay, if it can run like this. So if I just put this in, will this work? While that happens, I'll type in Python 3 TTY, TTL, or TTY, its actual name is. So if I change this to TTY, we'll need a TTY shell. This will just give us a fully interactive shell. But if we scroll up, we can see user bin, and we can see sbin. So this is the sbin, and this is pretty interesting checker. We can see AppCore. This is all just a bunch of rubbish. But the sbin is something interesting, because this is the only one from the sbin. None of these are proper SUIDs. This one is the only thing that stands out straight away. So if we go here, first of all, we want to go to this blog and we want to get an SUID. We want to get a proper shell on the system. So if we just copy this command, and if we go back here, we want to change to Python 3 because most systems run on Python 3. It's very rare that you'll find a system on Python 1 or 2 unless you're running it on an older, well, if you're doing a pen test on an older system. So if we do that, we should be able to, actually no, why did I do it like that? Let's just go here and run this properly. This should hopefully work this time. Yeah, we got a proper shell now, which is good. So let's try to see what runs in here. So where is it? It's right. It's user sbin. So I think this will mess up our terminal because it's a binary. Yeah, and it does. So if we just, or we can just do clear. Actually, it won't work because we don't have a proper shell. But how to read binary file? I think it's ltrace. Might be the command. Yeah, it's ltrace. I remember. I think it's ltrace. I think it's built into here as well. So if we do ltrace, will be a pretty good one to use. So if I just put ltrace here, and if we go up, we just see sbin somewhere. User bin, well, user sbin, and we can see here get environment admin if not admin. So this one's pretty interesting. So we could do export admin. I think it's admin equals 1. Let's try this again. Ask GPT for some help, and it gave me something helpful which I was messing up on. So there's no space, it's just export admin equals 1. So pretty much this script is checking if you are equal to admin, and you can see it says nil, so it thinks that we aren't admin. So if we do checker, we can see we're root. So pretty much this little SUID was just checking if we're admin, and it's getting the environment, and if admins equals 1, we are admin. So we could do NV, and you can see admin equals 1 is part of the environment, so that's pretty much why, because it was equal to 0 before. And if we do cd home, well, not cd home, there's nothing there, but if we do cd media, and if we do cd USB, we can see ls, we can see we got user.txt, and if we escape out of that, and if we go to root, oops, I keep forgetting we don't have a TTL, proper TTL, well, TTY shell, and we can see that's root.txt. If we do ls-la, we can see we can read root.txt. So this is this room done. This is the basic privilege escalation. A bit of a weird way to escalate privileges, but pretty common to see in this normal world, like an outdated WordPress website. You'll see a lot more than you'd want to see it.